The unexpected withdrawal. Celeste stepped into the Galactic Wealth Core Bank. The lobby was made of polished glass and glowing metal. Soft lights floated in the air. Digital assistants hovered beside customers, offering help. Everyone there wore shining suits, carried high-tech wristbands, and spoke in rich accents. Celeste didn't. She wore a simple long coat. Her boots were clean, but not expensive. Her hair was pulled back in a neat braid. She held no tech, no fancy ID tag, and no jewelry. People turned to look at her. Then they quickly turned away with silent laughs. At the front desk, a sleek silver droid greeted her. "Welcome to Galactic Wealth Core. Please scan your access badge." Celeste spoke softly. "I'd like to make a withdrawal." The droid paused. "Please scan your badge," it repeated. Celeste pulled out a small chip. It was shaped like a flat coin, silver with a glowing edge. She placed it on the scanner. The scanner blinked red. "Error. Clearance unknown," the droid said. "Maybe a human can help," Celeste replied calmly. From across the room, a tall man in a tight black suit was watching. "Mr. Drex," the floor manager, saw the alert flash on his device. He saw Celeste and frowned. Slowly he walked over, a smirk already forming. "Miss," he said, with a fake smile. "This is a high-security branch. Are you sure you're in the right place?" Celeste met his eyes. "Yes, I'd like to withdraw 2.5 million credits from account number 449 Zeta." Drex raised his eyebrows. "Withdraw?" He glanced down at her shoes. "Are you even aware of the minimum balance requirements for that account?" "I'm aware," Celeste said. Drex turned to the droid. "Did she show an access badge?" "She presented a level 1 legacy chip. No match found," the droid replied. Drex laughed lightly. "Level 1? That's ancient tech, maybe from a history museum." He turned back to Celeste. "Ma'am, you can't just walk in and ask for millions of credits. Do you even know how this system works?" Celeste remained still. "Yes, I helped design it." Drex laughed louder now. A few nearby customers chuckled too. One man whispered, "She thinks she's important." Drex folded his arms. "Let me guess. You think this is your money?" "It is," Celeste said. Her voice was calm. "And I'll need it today." Drex tapped his wristband. "Security to Zone 1. Possible fraud attempt." Celeste didn't flinch. 2 guards arrived. They were big, armored, and holding stun batons. "Problem here?" one asked. Drex nodded at Celeste. "She's trying to access restricted accounts with outdated tech. No match on record. Probably a stolen chip." The guard stepped closer. "Ma'am, please come with us." Celeste didn't move. "I suggest you wait before you make another mistake." "Oh," Drex sneered. "And why is that?" Celeste reached into her coat. Slowly, carefully, the guards gripped their batons tighter. She pulled out a small, round object. It looked like a dark glass coin. She pressed it gently, and it lit up with a golden glow. On it was a sigil, the symbol of Galactic Wealth Core. But unlike any version seen by the public, it was older, deeper, a founder's mark. Drex's smile faded a little. "What is that?" Celeste said nothing. She placed the glowing chip on the scanner again. This time, the scanner blinked yellow, then white, then gold. A tone echoed in the lobby. Everyone stopped. All digital assistants froze for a moment. The droid at the desk spoke again, but its voice was deeper now. "Founder class biometric detected. Stand by for identity confirmation." Drex stepped back. "What? What does that mean?" Celeste looked at him, finally showing emotion, a small, cold smile. "You'll find out soon," she said. The guards looked unsure now. One of them tapped his earpiece. Control, we have a golden scan alert. Confirming." In the silence that followed, whispers filled the room. People were now staring. No one laughed. Drex looked around nervously. He took a step closer to Celeste. "Look, maybe this is a misunderstanding." Celeste cut him off. "You said this wasn't the charity window." Drex swallowed. "Consider this a lesson in manners," she said quietly. The droid finally spoke again. Founder confirmation complete. Welcome, Celeste Arden. Executive access granted. The vaults respond. A soft hum filled the bank as Celeste's founder chip finished scanning. The glowing lights in the room dimmed slightly, and all service systems froze. Screens flickered. Doors auto-locked. Everyone stopped talking. The desk droid's voice changed again. It no longer sounded like a polite assistant. It sounded like a command officer. Founder class override. All vault operations paused. Executive protocol initiated. Mr. Drex stared in shock. "Ilu, what is going on?" he whispered. Celeste stood calmly, hands folded. From deep within the bank, metal doors slid open on their own. A low thrum echoed as the vault corridor, something no regular customer ever saw, came to life. Bright golden lights stretched down the hallway, leading to sealed vault doors now blinking white. The guards looked at each other nervously. This is real," one said. The other guards stepped away from Celeste. "She's on the founder list. Only 10 people in the galaxy have this access." Drex's face turned pale. "That can't be. That list was sealed centuries ago. Most of those people are legends." Celeste looked at him. Legends tend to stay quiet until someone gives them a reason to speak. Before Drex could reply, a panel in the wall opened. A silver hover drone came out, carrying a black case with glowing edges. It flew to Celeste and hovered. The case clicked open. Inside was a slim tablet with a glowing seal, the original seal of Galactic Wealth Corps, older than the bank's current systems, older than Drex himself. Celeste took the tablet and pressed her thumb against the seal. The screen lit up and began speaking aloud. Founder, Celeste Arden. Core Bank Designer. Vault Security Engineer. Executive Shareholder. Authorization, active. Founder shares, 12. Directives remaining, 7. Drex backed up slowly. That's impossible. One of the customers in line gasped. "She's a founder, like, from the original board." Security didn't move now. No one dared. Celeste tapped the tablet again. She brought up her account. The numbers on the screen made everyone's jaw drop. Balance, 918 million credits. She scrolled further. Personal vault holdings, 17 interstellar patents, 3 shipyards, 1 AI cluster. Drex's hands trembled. I didn't know. I thought you were just what?" Celeste asked. Her tone was still calm, but now there was power behind it. Drex looked down. "Just another customer. I didn't know who you were." Celeste nodded slowly. "Exactly. You didn't bother to ask. You didn't check. You judged me by how I looked." She looked around the lobby. Everyone was watching in silence. Even the droids had paused to listen. "You laughed at me. You called security. You told others I was here to steal." "I'm sorry," Drex said, his voice weak. "I didn't ask for an apology," she said. Another drone hovered over. This one was red. It carried a silver envelope with the bank's logo stamped in gold. It spoke in a clear voice. "Emergency executive order detected. Awaiting confirmation. Personnel action, level 1. Drex took a step back. No, please." Celeste tapped the tablet again. Her voice was clear. "Confirm level 1 personnel action. Termination of Manager Drex for breach of ethics and violation of client rights." The red drone's light turned green. "Confirmed. Mr. Drex's contract has been voided. Effective immediately. Access revoked." A soft beep echoed. Drex's wristband shut down. His name badge dimmed. A light on his belt blinked red. He was officially locked out. You can't do this," he said. "I just did," Celeste said. "And I suggest you leave now before I add trespassing to your record." Drex looked around. No one moved to help him. No guards, no staff. The security AI didn't respond to his voice. Defeated, he turned and walked quickly toward the exit, head down. Celeste looked back at the guards. "Please escort him out." They nodded immediately. "Yes, ma'am." As Drex was taken away, Celeste turned to the remaining staff. "Let this be a reminder. You never know who's standing in front of you. Always treat people with respect, not because of power, but because it's the right thing to do. The droids bowed. Staff nodded in silence. She walked toward the now open vault corridor. The golden lights followed her. Founder protocol activated. Celeste walked through the glowing vault corridor. The lights adjusted with every step, reading her biosignature, making sure she was really who she claimed to be. And she was. Behind her, the chaos in the main lobby faded. Staff whispered, customers stared, and the security guards stood frozen, unsure if they had just witnessed history or the start of something much bigger. Inside the vault wing, Celeste reached a sleek door labeled Vault Alpha 1. Founded access only. The door opened automatically. She entered a round chamber filled with crystal screens, old-style code panels, and a central command chair shaped like a throne. This was the true heart of the bank, something few even knew existed. She sat down, calm as always. The screens lit up, showing faces of other board members, some human, some not. A hidden network activated, the Founder Circle. A smooth voice came through the system. Welcome back, Founder Celeste. It has been 112 years since your last live login. Reason for return. Emergency protocol triggered. Celeste answered, staff at Branch Delta 6 violated ethical policy and attempted to deny me access to my own funds. The AI paused. Noted, a full review of employee behavior has begun. Do you wish to initiate Founder protocol? Celeste stared at the screen, thinking for a long moment. Then she said softly, yes. Initiate Phase 2. The crystal walls pulsed with light. Far away, across the galaxy, in hidden chambers within the Galactic Credit Network, systems began to shift. Dormant files unlocked. AI systems paused current banking operations. All commands that hadn't been used in a century came back to life. One screen displayed blinking text. Founder Celeste now active. Initiating restructure. Meanwhile, back in the main bank lobby, people were still trying to understand what had happened. Mr. Drex was gone. The security drones no longer listened to the branch staff. Even the assistant manager couldn't access his own files. One junior staff member tried to reset the main system, but his access was denied. ERROR, you are not authorized to modify Founder protocol settings. They all looked at each other. The bank wasn't just under new control. It was under ancient control. The kind that couldn't be overruled. In Vault Alpha 1, Celeste reviewed her plans. She didn't come back just to fire one rude manager. This was about more than just respect. This was about fixing a system that had become blind, greedy, and arrogant. Her voice echoed through the control chamber. Begin scan of all branches. Flag locations where racial or economic bias has been recorded in transaction behavior over the last 20 years. The system replied, processing, found 1,937 violations across 12 sectors. Most severe, Branch Delta 6. Recommendation, immediate audit. Celeste nodded. Prepare public transparency report. It's time the galaxy sees who's really behind the counters. Another screen lit up. This one showed a news feed, broadcasting live across the system. Outside the bank, small crowds had started to gather. People with complaints, people with stories. Some had once been turned away. Others had been humiliated. But now they were whispering one name, Celeste. Back inside, a voice came over the loudspeaker. It was her. To all customers and employees, I am Founder Celeste Arding. The bank you stand in exists because of the work I helped build. But somewhere along the line, people forgot that trust, not fear, is what holds this system together. There was silence. Everyone stopped moving to listen. Today is the first step in changing that. I will not hide. I will not allow this system to continue hurting those it was meant to help. You may not know my name, but soon you will. And with that, the screens went dark. Only one word remained glowing. Rebuilding. The enemy within, far across the galaxy, deep inside the headquarters of Galactic Holdings Central, a dark office hummed with tension. The walls were black glass. The air smelled of metal and secrets. A tall man in a red cloak stood before a floating screen. Celeste's face was on it. "She's back," he said quietly. His name was Director Vaughn, the acting head of the Galactic Credit Network. He wasn't elected. He wasn't even appointed. He had simply stayed in power when everyone else forgot the founders. And now, one of them had returned. He turned to his assistant. "Begin Protocol Black," he ordered. His assistant's eyes widened. "Sir, that protocol is banned. Even by emergency code. I said begin it." The assistant obeyed. Back at Branch Delta 6, chaos was still unfolding. The staff had lost all access. Customers were lining up outside the doors, asking for answers. Holo screens buzzed with news of Celeste's message. Her words were now being shared across star channels. People were talking. People were remembering. Inside Vault Alpha 1, Celeste stayed calm. She had seen this kind of fear before. It always came right before the truth. Her wrist device blinked. LEOT. Unauthorized movement detected in satellite hub above Branch. She narrowed her eyes. "Track it." A camera feed opened, showing a group of armored drones landing on the roof. Their movements were too precise. Military level. Someone had sent in a cleanup squad. They weren't here to ask questions. At the same time, one brave employee, Lena, a young systems tech, snuck down into the maintenance room beneath the bank. She had heard Celeste's voice earlier. It had stirred something inside her. Lena remembered how Mr. Drex mocked customers who didn't dress rich. She remembered the way her own sister had been denied a loan for medical treatment. And now, this founder had returned. She tapped her comm. "Ms. Celeste, I'm Lena. I can help you." "They're coming." Celeste responded instantly. "Then listen carefully. We only have minutes." Outside, the armored squad entered the building through a private roof hatch. They carried no ID, no voice, just silent orders. They reached the vault wing and stood before Vault Alpha 1. Celeste was still seated, surrounded by blinking lights and ancient codes. The squad leader raised a pulse weapon. But before he could fire, Lena triggered the emergency lockdown. Steel walls dropped around the squad. The airlocked corridor sealed tight. Red lights flashed. "Security override complete," Lena whispered. Celeste smiled for the first time. "You're braver than most executives I've met." Lena replied, "I just got tired of being silent." Back in space, Director Vaughn stared at the failed feed from the squad. He slammed his hand on the desk. She was supposed to stay buried. This bank wasn't meant to remember her. He turned to a different screen, an encrypted file labeled "Founder Memory Wipe." Status: incomplete. He opened it. Inside were logs and secrets. Celeste had once voted against him. She had stalked his plan to automate all credit systems, removing human fairness from lending rules. She believed in people. He believed in control. And now, she was threatening everything. He called his top enforcer. "Release the No unit," he said. The enforcer looked afraid. "But that would destroy." "Do it," Vaughn hissed. "If she wakes the rest of the founders, this galaxy won't be ours anymore." Meanwhile, Celeste finished uploading her first audit report. Across thousands of planets, small terminals in banks lit up. Customers saw the truth. They saw secret loan rejections. They saw racial filters in the algorithm. They saw board members funneling funds into private vaults. People were stunned and furious. Founder rebellion. Celeste stood inside the vault, her face lit by the glowing message from another founder. "You're the first to wake up, but you're not alone." She stared at those words. Her hand trembled, not with fear, but with fire. More were out there. Other founders. Hidden, forgotten, wiped from memory by the very system they built. And now, the system was cracking. Lena's voice came through the wrist device. "Ma'am, the customers outside. They're starting to protest. People are recording. They're demanding answers." Celeste nodded. "Good. Let them speak. Truth spreads faster than lies." She tapped into the vault's hidden neural link, a connection only a founder could access. Screens across the galaxy flickered to life. Every major branch, every city tower, every outer ring outpost. A woman's voice echoed from the screens. "This is Celeste Aaron, founder of the Galactic Credit Network. I was erased, lied about, buried, but I remember now, and I see what you've done to my legacy." At the same moment, in a black ship above the city, Director Vaughn watched in horror. People everywhere were watching. Some were cheering, some crying, some were breaking their credit cards in the streets. This wasn't just a glitch, it was a revolution. Down on the surface, inside Branch Delta 6, chaos turned to calm. People stopped arguing. Even the angry security bots stood still, confused by new override codes. Celeste turned to Lena. "You've done more today than most board members ever did in their careers." Lena smiled nervously. "I didn't plan this." "No revolutions are planned," Celeste said. "They begin with people choosing courage over comfort." Suddenly, the lights flickered. The floor shook. A deep hum filled the air. Lena checked the console. Something just entered the atmosphere. Huge energy signature. It's not government, not military. Something else. Celeste's eyes narrowed. It's the new unit. The what? An ancient weapon, built in secret during the early banking wars. It erases physical records and people, leaves no trace. Lena's face went pale, and they're sending it now. Celeste looked calm, but her mind raced. Vaughn's desperate. He knows if we keep going, the people will rise. So he's coming to erase me. Again. In the sky, a giant dark triangle appeared, floating like a shadow across the skyline. Its shape had no engines, no lights, no windows, just silence and dread. Inside, machines began to wake, giant arms, white mist, a program designed only to delete. Inside the bank vault, Celeste accessed the founder beacon, a relic hidden deep in the code of every major financial hub. It wasn't a weapon. It was a call. She pressed her palm on the ancient surface. Founder key accepted, broadcasting location to all remaining founders. From distant corners of the galaxy, other sleeping minds began to stir. A woman on a farming moon looked up from her soil and clutched an old pendant glowing with the same seal. A man inside a mining prison blinked as memories rushed back. They remembered Celeste. They remembered the truth. Outside, the new unit descended toward the bank. Its voice echoed from the sky. "Target, Celeste Aaron. Order, terminate." People on the street screamed. Some ran. Some filmed. Some stood still, unsure if this was war or justice. Inside the bank, Lena panicked. "Ma'am, we have to go. That thing would erase everything." But Celeste didn't move. She opened a panel and pulled out a small chip. "Lena, this holds every founder command code, every override key, every truth they hid." She handed it to Lena. "If I don't make it, take this to the Capitol. Show the people." Lena clutched the chip. "You're not going to die." Celeste smiled. "No, I'm going to remember who I am." As the new unit fired a blinding beam at the bank, a sudden wave of blue light erupted from the vault. It pulsed outward in all directions. A shield? No, it was a signal, a founder recall wave. Across the stars, others woke fully, their memories restored, their power rising. The light reached the new unit, and for the first time in its long, empty history, it stopped, paused, confused. Founder authorization detected. Error, error, shutdown. The triangle-shaped ship froze in the sky, then slowly turned away and vanished into space. The world went silent. Then cheers erupted. People screamed Celeste's name. Lena cried in relief. And Celeste, still calm, just said, "That was only their first attempt." The return of the council. The founder beacon glowed softly inside the vault, its signals spreading across the stars. Celeste stood in front of it, eyes focused on the hologram forming above. Founder Council. Restoring. 3 online. 4 pending. Lena watched from behind her, holding the chip close to her chest. The quiet hum of energy filled the air, calm, powerful, and ancient. Celeste turned around. This bank was only the first. Now we rise. All of us. Across the galaxy, something was changing. On the desert moon of Kalos, a retired engineer dropped his wrench. His eyes widened as a golden seal appeared on his arm. In a quiet underwater city, a scientist's old project reactivated. A vault labeled SC Core. And in the ruins of a collapsed station, a woman opened her eyes after a long stasis sleep. One by one, the founders returned. Back at the Galactic Credit Bank, Drex had been arrested. Security bots, now answering to Celeste, had removed him quietly. The board of directors tried to contact her, but she blocked their transmission. "We'll call you when we're ready," she said flatly. Now, the bank lobby was open to the public. No special guards, no secret rules. Celeste stood in the center, surrounded by citizens who once felt powerless. "Today, we begin again," she announced. "No more secret codes, no more bias. The system now belongs to the people." Meanwhile, Director Vaughn sat in his dark office high above the Capitol. His face twisted with rage as the new unit failed to report back. Celeste's face was on every news feed. People were calling her the true founder. He slammed his fist into the desk. "Activate Sentinel Order. Wipe every founder account. Burn the codes." A guard beside him hesitated. "But sir, that would destroy the entire economic grid." "I said do it," Vaughn growled. But even as the command went through, nothing happened. The system refused. EROR. LOUNDER Council restored. Emergency override locked. Vaughn's screen turned black. Then, a soft voice came through his speakers. "Celeste, you had your chance, Vaughn. Now it's our turn." Lena worked beside Celeste as hundreds of messages flooded in. "Thank you for standing up for us. How can I help? I was denied help for years. Can I finally apply again?" Celeste answered one by one. This wasn't just about a bank anymore. It was a movement. Then, the final alert came. Founder Council restored. 7 of 7 online. Quorum achieved. The vault glowed with a bright light as 6 other holograms appeared beside Celeste. Old friends. Lost allies. People who, like her, had been erased. They looked at each other in silence. Then Celeste nodded. "The people are ready. Let's finish what we started." From that moment, change swept across every system. Every blocked account was reviewed. Every denied loan was re-examined without bias. The corrupt board members were removed. The AI algorithms that judged based on race, wealth, or origin deleted. New banks were opened, led by real people for real people. Vaughn tried to run. But the council was faster. He was arrested trying to escape through a private spaceport. Celeste watched his trial quietly. When asked if she wanted revenge, she said only, "I don't want revenge. I want repair." Back in the vault, as calm finally settled, Lena turned to Celeste. "Did you ever think this would happen? That you'd come back like this?" Celeste smiled. "I didn't come back for me. I came back because too many people were still being pushed down. Like I was." She looked out the window, where crowds gathered peacefully, holding signs with her symbol, the golden seal of the founders. "They tried to erase me," Celeste said, "but some stories are too strong to delete."